Broadcasting live from the Flamekin village on the plain of Lorwyn, this is Tap Tap Concede. Flamekin Village is one of the new land from Commander 2014. It's rare, too.
Ooh.
Fancy.
Zesty.
Yeah, it's not that exciting.
Moving on, then.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to be talking about Commander 2014. I'll tell you what the land does right now. As Flamekin Village enters the battlefield, you may reveal an elemental card from your hand. If you don't, it enters tapped. It taps for a red, and for a red and tap, target creature gains haste until end of turn.
That's not bad.
I don't know why it's a rare, though. Anyway, point being, we're going to be talking about some of the cards from Commander 2014 today.
Hooray!
We're as Commander fans ourselves, we're very excited about this, and also just in general because there's some really sweet, entertaining cards here. And following on our predictions from the prior episode, where we were asked what we thought the Planeswalkers would be.
We were so wrong.
Super wrong.
We were like
to be fair,
possible
the wrongest
off ever.
We did not know that there were some hints that they'd given out that 3 of them would be old Planeswalkers that like existed, and 2 of them would be ones that weren't pre-mending Planeswalkers, and specifically that one of the 2 new ones would have been seen on a card. I don't know. We might have been able to make some better guesses with that. The point is we were super wrong, and we'll talk all about that. But first,
Crack
James,
back.
roll
Crack it back.
Roll the big dice. Come on, let's do it.
18.
18, wow.
Hopefully
20.
we have 18.
Yeah, we do. We have 20. I counted 20, 19, 18. Legions.
Ooh. Slivers.
So Legions, correct me if I'm wrong, was a set where there were no non-creatures.
Really?
Yep, everything was a creature. So you ended up with a lot of creatures that had to do spell type effects. Such as Gem Palm Polluter, which is a 4/3 zombie for 5 and a black. And it cycles for black. So you cycle it, you discard a card, draw a card, and when you cycle it, you may have target player lose 1 life for each zombie in play.
Oh.
See, so it's a creature that kind of acts as a spell. That could be interesting in a zombie commander deck. Speaking of commander, that seems like a lot of fun. Echo Tracer. It's a 2/2 for 2 and a blue. It's a wizard. When Echo Tracer is turned... and it has Morph for 2 and a blue. So its Morph cost, same as its casting cost. When it's turned face up, return target creature to its owner's hand.
This card is super good.
That's really
Yeah,
good.
This is in my... I believe this card... I haven't played the freaking Pauper Cube for so long, but I'm pretty sure this card is in it.
You played it more recently. Did you see Echo Tracer?
It is... It's a very good card.
I mean, I don't...
I'm not expecting you to have
didn't
seen
see
every
it,
card, but yeah.
So, I don't
Yeah.
know, but
I mean, like, that's a good card.
that's a really
Also,
good
this
card.
art is hilarious.
Yeah, the art is ridiculous.
Look at the Mysterio guy. He's bubbling.
Whoop. I kind of like his hair, though.
This guy shows up in the Magic Online cube sometimes, speaking of cubes. Nantuko Vigilante. It's a 3/2 for 3 and a green. Creature Insect Druid Mutant.
Keep
and
tagging those creature types on there.
it has Morph. And the Morph cost is 1 and a green. When Nantuko Vigilante is turned face up, destroy target artifact or enchantment. So you got to naturalize.
That's not bad. And the morph cost is only 2. It is literally naturalized.
Yeah.
That seems really good.
Mace Tail Histrodon. It's a 4/4 beast for 7 mana.
Whoa.
6 in a red. It has haste, and it has first strike. So 4/4 first strike, haste, 7 mana. That doesn't seem terrible.
No?
No?
But if you don't want it, you can cycle it for 3 colorless.
Yeah, that seems fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I mean, it's a little overcosted, but 4/4 first strike case seems pretty snazzy.
Like on turn 7, you're charging it into 6/6, basically.
Yeah.
But hey.
Yeah.
That's assuming there is that. I don't know if that power toughness is around in this
So
block.
far,
So
not.
far, so far it's winning combat.
Vintage Masters All-Star Deft Blade Elite.
Yep.
It's a 1/1 for a single white with Provoke. When this attacks, you may have target creature defending player controls untap and block it if able. And for 1 and a white, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to and by Deathblade Elite this turn. So what this means is that you can be, if they have like 1 blocker that actually matters, you can swing your whole team and force the really scary blocker to block this guy. And then you can prevent damage so it doesn't die, and you can do it again the next turn, and your other creatures can get past it.
Right.
Embalmed Brawler. It's a 2/2 for 2 and a black.
I don't think that would make somebody very good at fighting if they had been embalmed.
Well, he does have 3 arms.
That's
so
nice.
He's got a sword and a mace and a shield.
Seems strong.
So that's neat. He's a zombie, and he has Amplify 1.
What is Amplify?
As this card comes into play, put a +1/+1 counter on it for each zombie card you reveal in your hand.
So there's like a zombie sub-theme because the Gem Palm Polluter was also a zombie.
Yeah.
Well, there was a cycle of Gem Palm cards that all did a thing with their tribal.
Right.
The Goblin one is crazy good, if I recall correctly. Whenever Embalmed Brawler attacks or blocks, there's more, you lose 1 life for each +1/+1 counter on it. So there's a downside to the upside. I don't know how good that makes it. That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if it is. I don't actually. That takes it way down for me because it's a 2/2 for 3, but it could have this upside, or you could just play a 2/2 for 3, which is fine. But also, I don't know if I want to make it huge.
Well, it's like say you reveal
Give my opponent a bunch of information.
say you reveal 2 zombies.
So it's
I don't mind the information, but say you reveal 2 zombies, you got a 4/4 for 3. That's sweet. But then whenever it attacks or blocks, you lose 2 life.
that's terrible.
Well, not if your opponent is losing 4.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Patron of the Wild. So 1/1 elf for 1 for a single green. And it has morph, and the morph cost is 2 and a green.
Okay.
When it is turned face up, target creature gets giant growth, +3/+3 until end of turn.
That seems really good.
Bloodstoke Howler is a 3/4 for 5 and a red. It's a beast. But you can morph it. Now this is interesting. This guy's morph cost is more expensive than his than the MSRP.
Okay.
It's morphs for 6 and a red. When it is turned face up, beasts you control get +3/+0 until end of turn.
Well,
Interesting.
The Macetail Heistrodon is also a beast.
Now it's a 7/4 first strike with haste. That seems good.
Yeah.
So that's like
for
a
the low cost of 12 men.
Yeah.
So this is a finisher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, that's kinda cool.
interesting. I guess you could get like a beast deck.
And I mean, it can swing, and it's a beast.
Yeah.
So I mean, it as you unmorph it, it is a 6/4 as well, right? So that's not nothing.
Speaking of Vintage Masters, Kenai Aven. It's a 2/3 for 3 and a blue. It flies, and it has cycling for 2 colorless.
Yeah, this card's good.
It's very good.
First pick so far.
Wingbeat Warrior. It is a 2/1 flyer for 2 and a white. It has morph. It morphs up for 2 and a white. When it is turned face up, target creature gains first strike until end of turn. That could be good. They just sort of attack attack their morph into your morph. You block with your morph, which is this guy. You flip it
flip
up.
it.
Then
Yeah.
you get to kill their morph, assuming they can't flip their morph. It seems fine.
It's a
2/1
I think
flyer.
the Patron of the Wild is a better combat trick.
Yeah, I think so too. But this is a 2/1 flyer for 3. The Watcher of the Roost from Khans of Tarkir. I would play that guy just at face value as a 2/1 flyer for 3. And this guy's the same. He's also a bird soldier. Goblin Firebug. When Goblin Firebug, that's weird. Sorry, he's a 2/2 for 2. He's a Goblin Bear. He's a 2/2 for 1 and a red.
That's pretty good for a goblin.
But when he leaves play,
Yeah.
sacrifice a land.
Nope.
No.
Yeah, that card seems very bad.
Paul, could you tell me the Oracle wording on the leaves play? Is it leaves the battlefield? So that's even if he gets bounced.
Yep.
Oh, that is bad.
Seems bad.
That is awful.
Liege of the Axe. This guy looks like fun. It's very sort of like graphic comic book style art on this one. He's a 2/3 soldier for 3 and a white. He has vigilance, and he has morph for 1 and a white. And when he is morphed face up, you untap it. So that's actually less exciting than I thought. But you get to block morphs. They attack with their morph and they're tapped out. Then you flip this guy face up. Then you untap him, and then you block and you kill
And
their
then he
morph.
eats it.
Yeah. Goodness me. Just lean off the mic when you're yelling.
Sorry.
Good heavens, Kathleen.
No.
Earth Blighter. Is that that's Krovax on there, isn't it? Is that little Krovax?
I need to see it up close.
I'll pass it over. It's a 1/1 for 1 and a black. I guess no. I guess that's the Earth Blighter. It just looks kind of like Krovax, because that would be the guy. All right. It's a 1/1 for 1 and a black. For 2 and a black, and tap and sack a goblin. Destroy target land.
That seems very unplayable.
I think if you're in a goblin, if you had a goblin deck and you had something to make goblin tokens, that seems really good. Because it's destroy target land, so, you know. I don't know. I feel that there is a place for this card in Commander, in like the red-black goblin deck.
Anybody playing land destruction in Commander
is going to be hated.
Is going to be hated. They are the devil.
Yeah. I'm just saying there's a place for it. I'm not saying it'll make you popular.
Turns out there's a lot of Vintage Masters creatures from Legions.
Yeah.
Such as Skirk Drill Sergeant. He's a piker. He's a 2/1 for 1 and a red. He's a goblin. A lot of goblins in the set. Whenever Skirk Drill Sergeant or another goblin is put into a graveyard from play, you may pay 2 and a red. If you do, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a goblin card, put it into play.
Yep.
Otherwise, put it into your graveyard. With the flavor text, I order you to volunteer.
Yeah, I mean, that worked. That was a very good card in the Goblin deck in Vintage Masters. So, assuming there is a decent Goblin deck here, then...
I think there is a decent goblin deck.
Yeah, I mean,
and
just
I'll
from
tell
what we've
you,
seen so far.
I'll tell you why I know that. Because our rare,
Yeah.
I'll make you guess, it's also from Vintage Masters.
Okay.
It's also relevant to goblins. Interestingly, it's also foil.
Siege Gang?
Nope. Not a goblin, but relevant to goblins.
Oh, it's the bug.
The Click Slither.
Yes.
Not a sliver, Click Slither. Is a 3/3 insect for 1 red, red, red. It has haste. Sacrifice a goblin. Click Slither gets +2/+2 and gains trample until end of turn.
Oh, that is a beating.
This guy is real scary. Also, it's interesting. Our rare is our foil.
Well, but
There's no other.
yeah.
There's no other rare.
That's weird.
What a ripoff.
I didn't know that's how they used to do it.
I don't know. This guy's sweet looking.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay,
It's
so
an
I think
awesome
that's-
This is when they did the
art.
foiling process that didn't actually foil the art. It's just the border that's foiled.
Oh, so sick.
It's really cool looking.
So I feel that is the pick. But
Oh yeah,
assuming
Slithers. You just take that, force goblins,
you're
retire
done.
champion.
That's why you take the stupid goblin firebug, because you just want more shit for your click slither. You
Yeah.
don't care of sacrificing land at this point.
Yeah, did you get to 3 mountains? Okay.
Good.
Well, the best part about the Click Slither is you just jam with all of your goblins. Like you just turn everything sideways.
Yep.
And they're like, all right, I block these goblins, and the goblins that they block, you just go okay, and you sacrifice them all to the Click Slither, and then he becomes +2/+2 +4/4 +6/6, brumph with trample.
Yuck.
Cool. Click Slither's a absolute beating.
So aside from that, though, I think I'm taking the Echo Tracer. Like if the click slither's not in the pack.
I'm probably.
I love the idea of nope surprise bounce, because you can't do anything about a morph. Like you can't counter that.
Tracer's really
The
good.
ability does go on the stack, though.
True.
Right? Like they flip up
Yeah.
faster than instant.
Yeah.
But their ability goes on the stack.
Yeah.
I think I'm with James. I think I'm probably taking the Kenai Aven or maybe the Wingbeat Warrior.
I don't know if there's much you can do about
This
that.
is assuming that the Click Slither is not there, because otherwise I'm just taking the Slither, forcing
Yeah.
goblins and laughing.
Yeah, I feel like that is like the good choice.
I just love that card. It's so like 1 red, red, red is a like it's a rough casting cost on the mana requirements, but it's a 3/3 haste for 4 is still really good, and then the goblin ability makes it bonquares.
Yeah, I feel like you can basically try to run a mono red deck, or very close to.
I think I'd be on the Zombie Infuser. Just because I like those cards.
The the Gem Palm Polluter.
Yeah, the Gem Palm Polluter. Sorry. Gem Palm Polluter. And then doing the zombie thing. Because if I'm going to have to play creatures, might as well play tribal.
Just before we move on, I want to
There definitely is a
double-check the
push for
goblin
tribal
one.
here.
Right, Gem Palm Incinerator is the
Yeah.
goblin one, and it's when you cycle him. He's a 2/1 for 2 and a red. You cycle him for 1 and a red. When you cycle him, you have it deal X damage to target creature, where X the number of goblins on the battlefield.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous.
So, speaking of ridiculous,
Goblins all day.
Commander 2014, everybody. I hope that you all are as excited as we are all excited.
Yeah.
We are all excited. Comma. I hope that you. Doesn't matter.
And speaking
Anyway.
of goblins, guess what we finally have in Commander 2014?
Yeah, we have a goblin planeswalker, everybody.
Yeah,
Doesn't
we do.
really interact with creature strategies, but
No,
hey.
but he's a goblin planeswalker. Look at that guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had what will now be, I guess, 2 episodes back, because there's the Journey to Nyx episode in between. We were doing a mailbag episode, and one of the questions was, what do you think the rest of the planeswalkers will be? And we had a bunch of guesses, and we were super wrong
Yep.
on all of them.
Okay.
Let's talk about the new planeswalkers.
I want to talk about planeswalkers in general.
Go for it.
No, but not do we like them? I want to know your honest opinions.
Like, just
do
these-
we like the idea of planeswalkers as commanders?
Oh, there's a question.
Because that wasn't something that we got asked last week, and I wanted to talk to you guys about that, because I don't actually know if I like this or not yet.
I don't know either, to be honest.
Because I feel like it's either got to be all or none. So I feel really weird that these guys can be, but everybody else can't be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like all the other planeswalkers ever made right now are not legal commanders.
But they might super break it.
Yeah. Yeah, these planeswalkers are not necessarily as powerful as some other ones, right?
These
Jason
ones
Mind
are-
Sculptor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
Well,
these-
I assume that if they ever made a rule that you could just use any planeswalker as a commander, Jace would be banned from that. Because that would be no fun. What's up, Paul?
Sorry, is part of this rule that, so like if you bring out a planeswalker and then immediately blow off all the counters, can you just bring it out again immediately?
Yeah, well, it
For
would,
two
well,
more or whatever?
it would go back to the command zone, and then you would be able to recast it for 2 colorless more. Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
So I mean, all of these planeswalkers are on the high side in terms of converted mana cost.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
the cheapest one is 4.
So
Yeah.
that's probably that. I guess that's part of it.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm of. This is why I don't know how. I'm glad you asked that question. This is why I don't know how I feel about it. From a sort of like a making sense kind of thing, I like it. Like from a flavor perspective, right? You got legendary creatures; those can be the commanders. Why can't Liliana Vess
Sure.
be the commander of your deck? Right? Like
Yeah.
that. Like flavor wise, seems totally fine to me. Mechanically, I don't know, because they are very different kinds of cards,
Yes.
and they're very powerful.
Yep.
And I don't know. I mean, I guess it remains to be seen. I don't know. I think it makes enough sense that it doesn't surprise me.
Oh,
that-
I'm not
that
at
they-
all surprised that they went this way. Like,
Yeah.
I think this is a no-brainer, and I think it's exciting and it's flashy and it looks really cool. I mean, a question that I actually wanted to pose for the audience is, how do you play Commander, casually at home with your friends? Do you follow the rules put forth by
the Commander Rules Committee.
the rules committee? Do you follow the ban lists with the inclusion of these planeswalkers? Have you just said whatever, all of the planeswalkers can be commanders and stuff like that? Like, I feel like commander's a very loose format, right? I mean, if you're playing a sanctioned commander event, you absolutely have to adhere by rules, but I'm guessing 95% of commander games played on the planet every day are not sanctioned events. They're
Probably
they're
not,
just
no.
games being played around your kitchen table. And do you bother with the rules
I bet-
as they're set forth, or do you just sort of have your own house rules?
I bet there's more than one play group listening now that
Absolutely.
that are already used planeswalkers as commanders.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd be really curious to know how that's worked out for you. Do you fight planeswalker versus planeswalker decks? Do you not like when if 4 of you are sitting down and one pulls out, Liliana of the Veil, do the 3 of you go, "Ugh," or do you just all argue?
go, Not right now. You just use a different commander.
or something. I'm just curious. I think it's. I'm excited to see.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited to see what you guys are doing. But okay, let's actually talk about them.
All right.
Yeah.
Nahiri.
I'm so excited about her just as a character.
Yeah.
So there's been some discussion about whether or not she is literally Stoneforge Mystic.
Yes.
And I don't see why not. 'Cause,
Did-
they linked to, on this Magic subreddit, they linked to Doug Bayer's article. He's like the flavor guy.
Yeah.
And, they were like, he confirms that it's not. But he didn't actually confirm that in his thing. He just said that it's like a type of dress. Like what she's wearing. Like he didn't actually say that they're not the same person in his article. I think he left it very ambiguous.
I don't. I mean, it doesn't really
But
matter.
they're
Obviously,
they're dressed identically.
Yeah,
And they look identical.
Same hair.
Yeah.
yeah, they are very similar. But regardless, she's still super awesome. Like whether or not it's yeah, whatever.
For those of you who haven't read the Uncharted Realms article introducing Nahiri, A, you should. B, the TLDR is Soren and Ugin the Spirit Dragon, who will probably be making an appearance
I
at
would
some
assume,
point later
yeah.
in the Khans of Tarkir block, and Nahiri were the three planeswalkers that confined the Eldrazi to Zendikar. And there's a bunch of subtleties about the story about how the Eldrazi were actually drawn there to trap them there, which you should read about. But all the Hedrons in Zendikar that show up through Zendikar and Worldwake and Rise of Eldrazi, Nahiri made those Hedrons. It took her 40 years, according to the story, for her to make the Hedrons and for Ugin to inscribe runes upon them and for Soren to be there and look pretty.
No, Soren was tracking the movements of the Eldrazi.
Right. Okay. He was tracking. Yeah.
He was also like,
But I just think that's super cool that she made all the Hedrons. That's super.
That
neat.
is kind of neat. Okay,
Lithomancer means like stone
yeah.
magic or
Stone magic.
All right,
Anyway,
let's
so
read what this thing does.
what's Nahiri do?
3 white for a 3 loyalty planeswalker.
That's actually not that.
It's not great.
To be fair, in terms of planeswalker cost of loyalty go.
But her plus, and it is her only plus, is +2. You put a 1/1 white core soldier creature token onto the battlefield. You may attach an equipment you control to it. So you play her down, and she immediately is going to go up to 5.
Sold. Done.
And she's creating something to protect herself.
Yeah.
And if you have a piece of equipment on the battlefield already, it just can go on it for free if you want.
Can we just can we just say skull clamp?
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
skull
I
clamp.
believe they have reprinted, right? They're
Yeah.
reprinting in the set
In this set?
in Commander 2014.
Are they?
I think so.
I haven't seen that spoiled yet.
I'm pretty
gonna
sure-
I'm gonna scroll to the bottom of this page and take a
Like
look.
Skull Clamp
I
was
don't know-
from the Vault Exiled, wasn't it?
No, it has not been confirmed as being.
but like,
reprinted
yeah,
in this.
I mean, plus-
Look somewhere else because I'm pretty
Okay.
sure the full deck lists were spoiled
the,
today.
The point being,
But-
this card may as well read +2, draw 2 cards if you have a Skull Clamp in play.
But so, anyways, so that's her +2. -2, you may put an equipment card from your hand or graveyard onto the battlefield.
what was the second part of that sentence?
or Graveyard.
Or
Or graveyard.
For those times when your opponent has finally managed to kill Batterskull.
Or GT?
First one.
Oh my god!
In that deck.
So Skull Clamp is in Nahiri's deck.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
As is Argentum Armor, Moon Silver Spear, Bone Horde, Sword of Vengeance, Stratascythe, Kathleen, your favorite, the Loxodon Warhammer.
I fucking hate that thing. Oh, that.
She hates that because of my commander deck.
Oh, I hate
Swiftfoot
that thing.
Boots, Mask of Memory. Oh, just a Sol Ring. Of course, it's a Sol Ring. Oh my
I
god.
think Sol Ring is in
Her
every
deck
one of
looks
those decks.
gross.
I
Oh,
mean-
hey, Kemba's in it.
At
Core
least it doesn't
Sanctifier.
have like. I mean, where's the Batterskull? Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Let's get on this.
Wow.
All right. So,
Yep.
But
That's
if I can't get a Planeswalker and instantly make a Baneslayer Angel with her,
yeah.
then why am I even playing
What is
this
the point of this? Jesus.
Put Baneslayer Angel onto the battlefield.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's move on to her -10.
-10.
-10.
Wow. Okay.
Put a colorless equipment artifact token named Stoneforged Blade onto the battlefield.
Oh,
It has-
that already sounds awesome.
Yeah, it has indestructible, and equipped creature gets +5/+5 and has double strike. Its equip cost is 0.
What?
Its equip cost is 0. I mean,
I
you need to
not read that.
You need to -10 this planeswalker to get this, but its equipment cost is 0.
Now, keep in mind, her +2 is in fact protecting herself with a thing with. I mean, if nothing else, it's a chump blocker. It's probably got a big piece of equipment on it.
Oh my
Right?
god.
Like,
Well, I mean, like you swing in with the core, expendable, and then you re-equip the Stoneforge Blade, right? But this is an ultimate, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be good.
it's designed to.
It's a -10.
I mean, it's an
Ultimates win you the game quite
Yeah, well,
frequently,
I'm-
right?
well,
I mean,
I'm-
like in for most typically designed planeswalkers, getting a considering that she can't do commander damage,
yes.
I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it seems totally sweet.
That's actually, I was thinking about that when you mentioned it. But yeah, commander damage. I know a lot of people when we play commander our personal group is pretty stickler for the rules. Like no planeswalker commanders. Like you have to respect the color identity rules. Like no random
Well,
cards.
if you're not going
even
to
with-
respect color identity, you may as well not be playing commander.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, even if it's got like one activated ability
Yeah.
that you can't activate, that card's got to go to your deck. That kind of thing. But the one thing that we often ignore is commander damage, because it usually means you have to have a piece of paper with several numbers.
God,
that
that's
you are
so much work.
Tracking. It is a huge pain in the dick. And honestly, no commander damage. Hooray! Because most of the time people realize like, oh, I forgot to count that. Am I? And people are just go, no, never mind. Don't even worry about it. You just have 40 life.
Yeah, I don't like commander damage, but that's
neither.
a topic of we'll get onto that later. All right, Graham.
Yeah. Anyways,
Do the next one.
Totally
All right,
sweet.
Teferi, Temporal Archmage. So he was spoiled a while ago, but we never actually talked about him. 6 mana. He's the most expensive of the new walkers. 4 blue for but for 5 loyalty.
Okay.
So that's pretty good. And he has a +1, so he goes to 6 immediately. So that's fine. His +1 is look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand, and the other on the bottom of your library.
Absolutely.
That sounds fantastic.
Absolutely.
So draw a card.
Yep.
Yep. -1 is untap up to 4 target permanents. So if you want, you can get a 4 loyalty planeswalker for 2 mana, effectively, because you can tap your stuff. Maybe you have one of the
Soul
old
Ring.
Ravnica lands. Yeah, a Soul Ring or one of the old Ravnica lands that generates 2 mana.
Except you wouldn't have it in the monocolored decks.
That's true. That's true. But you could put him in a different deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying within his deck. You could put him in a deck of your own devising. Because the thing is, you don't have to play him as the commander.
No.
You could just put him in a green-blue deck. So that seems really sweet.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of shenanigans you can do with untapping permanents, not just lands. You can mana rocks, creatures, anything.
Yeah. Mana Vault.
Oh, yeah. Manifold. I was just about to suggest that.
His ultimate is also -10. You get an emblem with, you may activate loyalty abilities of planeswalkers you control on any player's turn anytime you could cast an instant.
This is the most ridiculous because
Yeah.
so he fits right in with like
Yeah.
people are going to go out and just throw him into the Super Friends Super Friends commander decks because like a deck filled with nothing but walkers, and then if you can ever get this guy down and ultimate him, it's just like
That's super busted, that ability.
that's just completely insane.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what happens with that.
I think people are gonna put a lot of resources into making sure that you don't get to do that.
yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like that's probably the case.
But it's pretty fun. One day you'll get to live the dream.
Kathleen, you want to tell us about Obnixilis of the past?
Well, Obnixilis, as we all know, is a big old demon. But before he was a demon, I thought he was just kind of a jerk, or maybe he'd always been a demon, spawned from hell. But apparently he was a planeswalker.
And he lost his spark.
Then
Is that how it worked? I haven't
Yep.
read that
Yeah,
article,
yeah.
so
Yeah,
that makes me sad.
And he was trapped on Zendikar.
There's Obnixilis the Fallen from Zendikar block.
Yep.
And then he was there was a new one reprinted recently in M15, which is Obnixilis Unshackled.
It's one of actually the community design cards.
There he is there. And but before he turned into a weird demon with a gem in his forehead, he was a dude with sick armor.
Yeah, he was Obnixilis of the Black Oath. He is a 3 loyalty planeswalker for 3 and 2 black. So
Again,
okay,
but-
but he has a +2, so he comes
fine.
out as a 5.
So we're fine.
basically, or maybe not. Now, +2. Each opponent loses 1 life. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. That's kind of going with a long-running theme of black commander decks being sort of about
Like draining
and life
I mean,
and stuff like
It's
that.
not exciting, but I like that. as
you-
well.
He fits.
In your average commander game, you're gaining 3 life probably.
Probably.
I
3 or
mean,
4 life.
sometimes 3 life can make a difference, and he goes fantastically into my existing mono black commander deck, because that's a very life matters deck. But for -2, so you can pop this right away and take him down to 1. Put a 5/5 black demon creature token with flying onto the battlefield. You lose 2 life. That's okay. For 2 life and 5s, you get a 5/5 flying black demon. Like, that's big for a black
But
creature.
that doesn't kill him.
No, that
He's
takes
still
him to 1.
around, and you got a 5/5 in the way.
Now, and interestingly,
That
his,
seems sweet,
his
actually.
Ultimate,
Just a sec. The -2 seems really good.
Yeah.
his ultimate is cheaper than Teferi or Nahiri. His ultimate's only -8, so it's not unreasonable to
So
think that you
hang
can
on,
get
comes
to
down on
this.
3, and he goes to 5, and then he goes to 7, then he goes to 8. Oh, right. When it goes 7, then he goes to 9.
Yeah.
So you can
Yeah.
you can pop that pretty quick.
Which means
and
it also means you can pop it and he survives.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which
Yes.
is important.
Right. You get an emblem with 1 and a black. Sacrifice a creature. You gain X life and drain X cards, where X is equal to the sacrificed creature's power.
Draw X cards.
Yes.
Yeah. That seems sweet.
Yeah.
Just random extra fun. Especially if someone does a board wipe and you're like, well, I guess I'll sacrifice all my creatures.
Gain a bunch of
Gain a
life.
bunch of life and draw a bunch of cards. You gain life. Like typically those effects when you sack a creature
Yeah.
and you like draw and is you lose life. In this case, you're gaining life.
I like Obnixilis. He seems like a friend of mine that I will be putting into some commander decks. Like I feel that he's also really, really good in my blue-black commander deck as well.
Cam, you want to read Duretti?
All right. Duretti, Scrap Savant. Duretti casts for 3 colorless and a red,
So
and
he's the
comes down with
cheapest.
3 loyalty.
Not only the cheapest, but a single red.
Yes.
Where everything else was double their color.
So very splashable. Duretti is from Fiora, right? He's from the Conspiracy Plane.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he
he's
looks
wearing
like-
the same outfit as the Blue Artificer.
Oh, yeah,
guy.
he totally is. You're right.
Yeah. Anyways, his +2 ability is discard up to 2 cards and then draw that many cards. On board. Absolutely already on board. His -2, sacrifice an artifact. If you do, return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Oh,
And yeah, so he's Goblin Welder.
yeah.
Yeah.
But better.
Yeah.
I like that.
So you can sack something, get value for it, and then return Blightsteel Colossus. Or, no, well, not Blightsteel, but
Tap Sol Ring to cast him, and
Yep.
then
sack Sol
sack
Ring.
the Sol Ring to bring, to like get like a
Batterskull,
yeah
Jite.
something back from your. Ooh, that's good.
Yeah. At -10, you get an emblem with whenever an artifact is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, return that card to the battlefield at the beginning of the next end step. So very much like Tamio with her instants and sorceries.
Oh
but-
yeah.
Yeah.
Because what's that stupid card? The 6/6 artifact.
Wormcoil Engine?
Yeah, is he in
Yeah.
his deck?
Oh, probably. Let me find out.
Is he the one who got Wormcoil?
I would be shocked if he didn't.
Yeah, I would assume that he's the one who got the engine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got
you just-
Wormcoil Engine.
so you
Yeah,
just sack
okay.
one of the Wormcoil.
Yeah, exactly. And get Wormcoil and get the 6/6 back and just
Yeah.
keep.
He's got.
I mean, you can't keep doing that. He's -2, but
He's also got like Bosch Iron Golem, Pentavus, the Battle Sphere, Steel Hellkite. He's got Bottle Gnomes in his deck.
nice.
Bottle Gnomes that works so well with the Bottle Gnomes.
Please tell me he has Ichor Wellspring.
I'm just gonna.
What about Graham? I know your personal favorite
Spine
card.
of Ishsa?
Spine of Ishsa.
Let's see.
How many of those?
He
do you
sure
have?
does. I've got like 8. He does indeed have. He has both of those cards, Cam. He has
Nice.
Ichor Wellspring
Yes.
and Spine of Ishsa.
What does Ichor Wellspring do again?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Blank.
It's a blank. It comes into play. You draw a card. It leaves play. You draw a card.
But that seems awesome because you sacrifice it
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
get.
no,
Yeah,
it is.
Oh, it's with him.
perfect
It's
in his
amazing.
deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to play it in my Shroom deck.
Yeah, but it's just like a little. It's a little thud. It just goes. Bleh. Oh my god.
I'm fine for sacking that to bring back Wormcoil Engine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got Darksteel Citadel. Of course he does.
Yeah, no, I mean, I looked at these deck lists this morning, and all of them look really fun.
These decks
Yeah.
are
like
crazy.
these decks look like a lot of fun.
That's actually something that I think we need to point out. There is definitely an idea that maybe like a pre-gen commander deck isn't as good as one that you build yourself. Because the first ones were okay, like the first.
You
second
might
one
not
were
feel.
fine.
You might not feel as
The
invested in
connection.
it.
Yeah. But they still.
The pre-gen commander decks are really good, guys. They're very powerful.
Well, like last year's Jund deck had an infinite combo.
Yes, it
which-
did.
Yeah.
Yes, it
Yes.
did.
I mean, these things are being designed by smart people.
Yeah,
who
like
know
who are-
what they're doing, right? So I
Yeah,
mean,
like I expect like, last year's Jund deck was a mid-range aggro deck with a combo for backup, and yeah, like there are lots of interesting plans and a lot of depth in these decks.
I know that we are going to have a because he offered up on Twitter. We're going to have on a future episode our friend Dan Emmons back on the show, and he was involved in development and design for Commander 2014.
Yep.
So he can talk a lot about designing some of these cards.
yeah.
Because he's all about the Planeswalkers.
Yeah, no, Dan really did a great job with these.
Yeah.
They're
And-
all very flavorful and powerful.
Speaking of which, Planeswalker number 5, James.
Freyalise Lanawar's Fury. This card is
Right, there's a green one.
yeah, this one's really cool. So 3 green for a 3 loyalty planeswalker, but immediately +2 her, so she goes to 5.
So just like
when you play her.
Nixilis and just like
yeah.
Nahiri.
But when
Freya
you
snake.
+2 her, you get a Llanowar elf. That's just what you get.
You just get a 1/1 elf
just-
druid with tap to add a green to your mana pool.
That's really good.
That's awesome.
You just make a bunch of those turn after turn. Ugh, I love it. Her -2, destroy target artifact or enchantment.
Now, that may not sound exciting because Naturalize is not a huge. It's like, okay, sure, Naturalize. Designed for Commander, there's always a target, and generally a target you really want to deal with.
Oh my god, yeah. If it's not enchantments that are going to draw you cards, it's artifacts that, like
Well, it's artifacts like Skull Clamp or
Sol Ring.
or
Yeah.
Jite or just
Batterskull
any number of
Yeah.
Bone Horde.
of
is
Yeah.
amazing.
ready.
yeah.
well, and obviously Duretti can bring his artifacts back, but that's a pretty big hoser to other decks, right? To destroy, a vital
Yeah,
piece.
Yeah, you blow up a Stoneforge Blade, and Nahiri's just like single tier.
It's indestructible.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
All right. Ultimate -6.
That's cheap.
It's a very cheap
Yeah.
one. Draw a card for each green creature you control.
oh,
In
yeah.
a-
So this is
This could be very ridiculous. Like you could easily be drawing like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards probably off this thing.
Wowie.
Yeah, it seems very, very, very good.
Cam, I don't know how much you know about any of the Eternal formats. Do you think this gets into any of the sort of
Well, like-
elf decks?
Legacy Elves is like a combo deck.
Right, it's not even. It's a combo deck that uses creatures as its moving parts, but it's not
Yeah.
actually a creature deck.
No, well, I mean, like it kind of can swing, but it's not a creature deck in the same way that like Legacy Merfolk
Or goblins.
is. Yeah, or goblins. Like,
I mean, I know. Alex said that this would probably go into the Highlander elf deck, but
yeah, I think this is probably way too slow for
yeah.
Legacy,
Yeah.
unless
So something
because
I wanted.
I mean, like, also you have to remember like the elf token doesn't come into play with haste, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So she comes into play, makes a body that
You can't
kind
tap.
of protects her.
You don't
But it's
really
still
want to
just a
block with it.
1/1,
Yeah.
right? Because next turn you want to ramp with it, but when you're ramping with it, you're already at 5 mana, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, presumably you played her out earlier than turn 5.
Presumably, but you're at 5 mana,
Yeah.
right?
And in the deck, you can have, let me think, you can have Llanowar Elves and Arbor Elf. And
There's so many of them.
Fyndhorn Elves and
Yeah.
Elvish Mist. You
Yeah.
should just run all of the 1 mana.
Yeah, well, like Birds
yeah.
of Paradise and Sylvan Caryatid, and there's a dozen of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
24 of them.
Anyway. So we're not going to go through a comprehensive listing of all the new cards that are being printed. But there's some others that we want to talk about. And actually,
Oh, sorry, just quickly. I noticed, we're talking about the whole Commander Planeswalker thing. The other thing is that none of these guys do direct damage themselves.
Yeah.
So the
No,
Commander damage thing doesn't actually apply.
yeah.
Yeah.
We
No,
were-
but like,
we mentioned
yeah.
that earlier.
Probably intentional, yeah.
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 When we were guessing about green planeswalkers, one guess that we came up with,
Was Roffalos.
yes, but there was another one which was still printed in the set
Yep.
as a legendary creature, which was Titiana, Protector of Argoth.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
So she's a 5/3 for 3 green. She's a mythic, also legendary creature, meaning she could also be a commander. When Titiana, Protector of Argoth, enters the battlefield, return target land from your graveyard to the battlefield, which is kind of cool. Whenever a land you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a 5/3 green elemental creature token onto the battlefield. So you can do a weird, like, self-land sacrifice. Oh my god, I just thought of something awful.
With Snaplands.
Surge's deck.
Yep.
Fetch lands, you just get a 5/3 and another land,
With
and you crucible it back.
Wait. I know this is an expensive spell, but with Terastodon, you get 3 3/3s and 3 5/3s.
Is Terastodon in the green deck?
I don't know. I'm gonna look it up.
Because that's the play with Terastodon, is unless you really need to nuke
It
something.
is. Oh no.
Oh, it
Yeah.
is. No, so they saw that.
Perfect.
They knew that.
I've got to play this deck now. Oh, and Harrow is in the deck.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And fresh meat.
Yep.
Nice.
Oh,
These decks are all
wow.
super fun
This
looking.
is really filthy.
Yeah, they all look interesting and
I'm
resilient.
super excited
And
about
well
all of
balanced
this.
against one another, which is
Yeah.
the really the nice thing about playing the commander decks.
Actually, no, I'm curious about something. Not card related, but just set design related. What does rarity have to do with anything in the set?
I guess it doesn't. Broadly
Yeah, I'm just
speaking.
curious.
I think it's more of an indicator of like the kind of card. Like sometimes there are mythic rare cards that are printed that are still like not that exciting.
Yeah.
But they're printed at mythic rarity because they are relevant for sort of story reasons or
Yeah.
like they're. So I think in this case with like Tatiana and Felden and Jisa, Stitcher Geralf and Jazal, which are the non-planeswalker mythics.
Yeah,
I think they're mythic sort of
Just to
for,
sort of-
for
Because they're important people.
Yeah.
sell the flavor more than the
I
rarity.
assume that was what it was, but just
Yeah,
Interesting.
that's true. I don't know
'Cause
why
it-
any of it matters really.
Yeah, because it doesn't in this sort of set.
You
but
know what it is relevant for? Pauper.
that's true.
If they just printed everything at common, Pauper would be hell.
That's true. Although you don't, I mean, you could theoretically get away printing them at there is just no rarity, right?
Yeah.
Like you just don't consider them common, uncommon, rare, or mythic. They
That's
just
true.
don't exist.
But they are legal in some of the Eternal formats. These are legal in Legacy, right?
Yes.
And Vintage?
Presumably vintage.
I think
I've never really looked into vintage
neither
because
have I.
it's so unattainable.
We should
Yeah.
figure that out, but that's fine.
And I wanted to talk again real quick about Thunderfoot Baloth. It's a 5/5 for 6 with trample, pretty sweet, and it has this new keyword ability that's in the set called Lieutenant. I think there's only the 5 of them. There's
I mean,
one,
how many lieutenants can you have?
one in each color.
Lieutenants.
Yeah, or lieutenant, I guess. Well, you can have your right and lieutenant. Yeah.
Oh, boo!
Sorry. And so it's a thing that checks if you control your commander. And so he's a 5/5 trample for 6, which is fine. But if you control your commander, the Baloth gets +2/+2, and other creatures you control get +2/+2 and trample.
I feel like these are just removal magnets.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's a
That's
very,
insane.
very ridiculously good card.
The thing is, you can have your commander and you can have a bunch of creatures, and then just be like, and play Thunderfoot Baloth and attack with my other guys, which are all now huge and have
Yeah, which
trample.
now have like overrun on a body, almost overrun on a body.
It is really strong. I don't know. James, what did you want to? There was something you wanted to talk about as well.
Reef Worm.
Oh, Reef Worm.
Okay, so I saw this card spoiled on Twitter. I found out that it is the love child of John Laux and Dan Emmons, and that just makes complete sense.
Oh, of course it does.
This card is just completely insane. So for 3 and a blue, you get an 0/1, which is complete crap, and we all know it.
Wait, but that's a
fine.
so Lauxy.
But it's very, yeah, exactly. You immediately think, wow, okay, that's the kind of card that John Laux would play. This is the wall of text that appears inside this card. When Reefworm dies, put a 3/3 blue fish creature token onto the battlefield with, and then let's just stop right there.
That's fine.
It's fine,
That's all right.
right?
You can like sack a creature, get like a sack effect off it. Sure.
Yeah, and you get a 3.
Okay,
So now you're
so
getting
you
an 0/1, and then so you
get
get
a
like
3/3.
you get like a chump block, and then you get a 3/3.
Okay,
But
sure.
the 3/3 comes in and reads, when this creature dies, put a 6/6 blue whale creature token onto the battlefield.
Oh, okay. Now you've sold me.
Yeah,
I like that.
that's pretty sweet.
That's good.
right?
That's good.
But it keeps going.
Wait, what?
Because the 6/6 comes in with, when this creature dies, put a 9/9 blue Kraken creature token onto the battlefield, and that's where it stops, because that's where it needs to stop. Because anything bigger would just be ridiculous.
They've run out of space on the card.
There is-
Put
Yeah.
Merit Liege onto
There
the
is
battlefield.
always a
Yeah.
bigger fish.
This is easily one of my favorite cards they've printed in a very long time. I love the tokens.
Have you seen the tokens,
that
guys?
come with these?
No.
And what they've done is
You can see on Reefworm.
Yeah.
There's the fish that's about to eat the Reefworm. The token for the fish is the fish with
the
a
whale
with a
in the
whale in the back, and the token for the whale is the whale with the Kraken in the back.
What's behind the Kraken?
Nothing. It's just the Kraken.
the Kraken is the 9/9. That's where it stops.
The Kraken is just
that's the
just
top
like
of the food
The
chain.
Kraken is just tearing a ship in half.
But I love it because somebody on Reddit actually basically stitched all the images together to create the one big image of all 4 creatures sort of I love it. I think this card is super fun. I'm excited to play with it. I want to play it with stupid cards like Doubling Season and stuff like that, where you just get like
Oh no!
ridiculous
You can put
amounts.
that in that green-blue deck we were
Pod.
talking about, James.
Yeah, it would just be completely insane.
That's
So
amazing.
Is pod legal in Commander or is it banned?
No, it's legal.
Is it?
Yeah, I think
Birthing
so.
pod?
Yep. So you
Well,
get to
hot diggity dog then.
pop the worm, go looking for a 5 mana spell, right?
Yeah.
That's how pod works.
yeah,
Right?
converted mana cost +1, right?
Oh boy. Oh boy. Kathleen.
All right, so I have 3 cards that I want to talk about.
All right, what you got?
Really quickly. I've got them pulled over my phone for maximum reference. The first one I want to talk about is our old friend. Well, he's an old friend, but we've never met him before. His name is Giselle Goldmane. Who's that? That's a Johnny's brother. That's a Johnny's big, brother that inspired a Johnny.
Ooh.
This is the cooler Goldmane brother. This is if Giselle was the high school quarterback, a Johnny was actually just sitting on the bench handing out Gatorade to the guys, and
He's
then
the
Giselle.
guy he's the older brother that dies in the prologue of the 1980s movie that is A Johnny's Life.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, he's the one who gets fridged early on.
Yeah. And then it inspiring and turns a Johnny into it may as well. I feel the flavor text should read "Sacrifice Giselle Goldmane, replace a Johnny Goldmane with a Johnny Vengeant." But anyhow,
Well, the flavor text is, as my Ka, he is the source of my inspiration. As my brother, he is the embodiment of my aspirations.
so
I like that.
that's cool. What is Giselle anyhow? He is a legendary creature, cat warrior. Warrior being a relevant subtype. He is a 4/4 for 4, and he has first strike, and he has an activated ability.
Well, he's already like a brick. A 4/4 first strike for 4.
Is really good.
Sold.
Very, very, very solid.
Also legendary, could be a commander. Make
Yeah.
him on a white cat deck.
Yes. Well, except all the good, you want to have a Naya cat deck to get all the best cats.
I know.
Anyhow, for 3 and 2 white, attacking creatures you control get +X until end of turn, where X is the number of attacking creatures. And this is an ability we've seen a Johnny do on his Planeswalker cards, and I can't remember which version of a Johnny because there's a million. But the pumping your attacking creatures.
Wasn't there also the elf legendary creature from Scars of Mirrodin?
Yes. Izuri.
Yes.
Azuri, yeah, who did the same kind of thing.
Well, he gave your creatures +3/+3 and trample until end of turn.
Oh, okay, right.
This is closest to maybe Elder of Laurels, where a target
right,
creature
yes,
gets +X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control.
Right.
But this affects all of your creatures, not just one creature. This guy is a brick, and so any kind of cat token deck is really good. And there's many cat token things such as White Sun Zenith that make cat tokens. Anyhow, I can't. I hope I'm not misremembering that Johnny has some sort of +X to your creature's ability.
He does, but
It's single creatures, I think.
Yeah.
you put a +1/+1 counter on creatures you control, creatures you control.
Right. Johnny Steadfast puts a +1/+1 counter on every creature you control. But then his other ability is pump one creature for a turn.
Right.
Anyway,
Anyhow,
I learned it from watching you.
This guy's really good. Rawr. He's not amazingly special, but that's really fun. Anyhow, next, I want to talk about a card that I kind of love in Commander. This is my favorite way to play a multiplayer format. My thing. There we are.
This one?
Yes. This card is Dulcet Sirens, which is a 1/3 for 3. That's not very exciting. But for blue and a tap, target creature attacks target opponent this turn if able. Make me a deal. What can we do? Oh, I can help you out. You need something to die? Just let me know. Right? This is fantastic. This is exactly how I want to play Commander.
When someone crosses you.
It's
if I have slighted you, you can make Cam's Blightsteel Colossus attack me.
yeah, exactly.
Maybe that's bad for Cam too.
It's bad for everybody except you, basically.
It also has morph randomly.
This card is a morph, so I don't know why. I don't know.
Because it's a surprise.
Yeah, it's a surprise.
It's the sirens. It's it's just a normal creature. There's no problem with this normal creature. Look, it's all colorless and nothing's happening. And now I'm crashed on the rocks.
Does this thing like I feel that
Actually, I really dig that flavor. By the way, this is,
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't use something like this in Theros. I mean, obviously not Morph, but I'm surprised they didn't use something like this in Theros block.
Well, I mean, this is a very powerful effect.
It's a very powerful effect. Well, I mean, you look at like Shipwreck Singer, right? Forced creatures to attack.
So anyhow, for those of you who like Commander because you play it while making, I don't know if you're listening to this podcast, you're not going to get this, but you're playing it like this.
Leaning back, fingers steepled, looking kind of like an evil Mr. Burns.
Yeah, like a Bond villain, which is
Yeah.
how I play Commander. This card is great. Love this card. I want it in my deck forever. It's like my new best friend. Now, and because I am also kind of a jerk, I also like to point out cards that I don't think are very interesting or very good. So yeah, for some reason, all right. Raving Dead is in the black deck. It is a 2/6 for 4 and a black, so it's a defensive card, but I mean, it blocks pretty
That's
much
fine.
all day. It's fine. It's a zombie. That's a relevant subtype, I'm sure. It has Death Touch,
Oh, so
even better.
It does block everything all day.
Yeah, basically it's just a wall that you can sit behind and do your stuff. Now, at the beginning of combat on your turn, choose an opponent at random. Raving Dead attacks that combat if able.
Oh, so he can't ever block because he's attacking every turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but I mean, he did Death Touch. He might eat something. Whenever Raving Dead deals combat damage to a player, that player loses half his or her life rounded down.
Did you say you wanted to point this out because you didn't think it was good?
Yeah, I don't think it's good.
This seems sweet. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
Okay, so it eats a stupid creature, but
Yeah.
also it screws with your plans of if you're trying to do any kind of alliance building or any kind of
No, it doesn't because it's random.
Yeah,
You're like,
no.
sorry.
Yeah, it's plausible deniability.
Yeah, I love that for that reason. Because then you can get hits in on the people that you're working with, and you're like, sorry, I can't control him. He's got a mind of his own. This guy's crazy.
People generally aren't that stupid, I find.
It's not it's random. It says on the card.
Like the point being though, like this is not something you want to put down unless you're in a position where it's already an all out thing.
I disagree.
I
completely disagree. I would cast this as soon as I could.
No,
Yeah,
I think from a
me too.
politicking point of view, this is going to make you more enemies than it will make you friends.
Which card?
Resolving any card in Commander makes you enemies.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
Yes, it does. That's how Commander works. It's like, oh, they've resolved a creature. I better kill it.
Yeah. Usually with a complaint that you've dared to resolve a spell.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys are not playing Commander the same way I play Commander.
No, we're not.
Well,
But I fundamentally disagree that you can be held responsible for merely casting this card when he attacks someone at random.
I feel that if it was a May ability, but he only attacked at random, it would be amazing.
If it's a May, then you absolutely have people angry at you because you would then be choosing to do so. Because it's completely random, it's not it's not up to you who it attacks. So they can't be
He
mad
doesn't have
at
to
you.
attack though, right?
No, it's at the beginning of your. It has to attack.
Oh yeah, he has to attack.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
I like this card. This
Unless
card's
you
sweet.
make it a defender, which would
I
be
don't know.
stupid.
I think this card is a great way of breaking up log jams as well on
Yeah.
the board.
Oh yeah.
Eh.
I can't control it.
Yeah, he's got a mind of his own, man.
exactly.
Look, I'll let you roll the dice if it makes you feel better.
Look, you know what you don't want when you're a supervillain? A henchman with a mind of his own. Everybody has to go according to
Fair
your
enough.
plan.
So what you're saying actually is you just don't want him in your deck.
Not really.
Okay. I think he's great.
I don't know. Also, a lot of supervillains totally do have the guy that they can't control.
Well, that's why they don't win at the end of their movies and books, Cam. And
We'll let Dave out of the cage and see what he can do.
he's extremely flavorful. Like I give him that, but I feel
Raving
that
Dave.
Raving Dave. The Daving Red. Cam, what did you want to talk about?
Okay, well, I've picked out 3 cards that I think are kind of interesting, and I just tend to build decks around terrible cards or interesting cards or things that tend to do weird things. With that in mind, the first card is actually really simple. It's just it's Dual Caster Mage.
Oh yeah, Dual Caster
For
Mage is sweet.
1 and red, you get a 2/2 human wizard with flash. Okay, not great, but
That seems fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Also, it reverbs.
Ooh, hello.
Yeah.
Which is to say, when it enters the battlefield, copy target instant or sorcery. Does not have to be the one that you control. Any instant or sorcery, and you can choose new targets.
Yeah. And
Delicious.
that being said, like a 2/2 body on a commander battlefield is not terribly relevant, but it's a great tempo card.
Yeah.
I mean,
Reverb something, get a body.
if they had
fight.
knocked one of those red mana pips off there, do you think this
That would
have
be
been
fork with a body.
This would have been the final, the long-awaited 2 mana.
Yeah, 2 mana red card.
The 2 mana red card that
Yeah.
actually did something cool, like all the other colors have.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
'Cause
yeah,
that's
like
still-
the red equivalent of Snapcaster Mage.
Yep.
I mean, you fork something and then you throw it in front of Dave, so you don't lose half your life.
They probably. I'm willing to bet, especially with the name Dualcaster Mage. I'm willing to bet that they tested it as a 2 mana, and we're like, this is
This
busted.
is not
Yeah,
going to work.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
This is too good.
Which is too
Right.
bad.
Yeah, we had to reprint fork with
Yeah.
just as red. But yeah, no, I'd totally play this guy. He seems fun. Especially just with, well, he has to have flash for this ability to work.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah.
So I'll happily get a 2/2 body with my reverb fork effects. The second card I want to talk about is Intellectual Offering for 4 and blue, an instant. You and an opponent draw 3 cards. You and target opponent untap all your non-land permanents.
Now,
And they do not have to be the same opponents.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. So it's like this is your kind of card again, Kathleen.
Make
You can be
me
like, so me and you are going to draw 3 cards, and me and different you are going to untap all our stuff. Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
I love it.
At instant speed, no less.
Yeah. And I mean, like, symmetric effects like this can be quite bad because, like, sure, you're drawing 3 cards and you're untapping all your creatures, all your mana rocks, but you've sunk 5 mana into it and you've given the same effect to an opponent. So, like, you're 5 mana down. Right? And presumably if they untap, like, a bunch of mana rocks, they'll have drawn into, like, a counter spell or a force of will or, something else that'll get them
Right.
to the control elements they need to shut you down. But still, I want to try playing around with this card a bit. The third card is Well of Ideas, which is a 6 mana enchantment for 5 and 1 blue. When Well of Ideas enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards.
Okay. I'm
Okay.
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, at least you're getting this card and another one back. That's actually pretty.
Okay. Keep talking to me.
Yeah.
Keep talking.
It's like
Do better. Do better.
You have my attention.
All right. Draw 2 additional cards on your draw step.
Excuse me.
Wait.
2 additional cards.
Yes.
Bottom ability.
Oh.
So the next time your draw step comes around, you draw 3 cards.
Yeah.
Mother
Okay.
of God.
So you're up to 5 cards.
Opponents draw 1 additional card on their draw steps.
Okay.
So this is like Mega Howling Mine.
Yeah.
I like this much better though.
Yeah.
You get more.
Yeah.
You draw
Okay.
2 when you cast it. You draw 2. You draw 1 more every turn. And sure, everyone's drawing 2 cards, but you're drawing 3 cards, so you're still up on it.
Yeah. So like this seems
Oh.
right at home with Niv Mizzet.
Oh God!
No.
Into Consecrated Sphinx.
Turn Niv Mizzet into a laser consecrated sphinx.
Right. Or the other alternate strategy I'd want to build this around is like some kind of deck where I'm playing like this with Epic Experiment.
Sorry.
To Epic Experiment for like 6 or 7 to hit, take extra turn effects when I've got Planeswalkers on the board, like Jace Balerion.
Oh,
And
get like
just get
time
like 3 or
warp and-
4 extra turns, draw
like
cards,
15,
play
16
more
cards.
time.
Just to be clear again, with if you have Consecrated Sphinx out, then on every opponent's upkeep, you are optionally drawing 4 cards.
yeah.
And people call me the monster.
That's really sweet.
It's a good thing this format has 100 cards in your deck.
Yeah, I don't know. I like playing good cards.
No
I
kidding.
don't know if this is a good card or not at 6 mana.
It
Seems pretty good.
I feel that you get. I feel that the sort of the optimal play for you is that it stays on the board. I feel the optimal play for everybody playing with you is it resolves it as a naturalized before the beginning of your next turn.
Well, yeah, so you protect it, right? You would play this turn 9 with counter magic up.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, but how many counter spells do you have, right?
Enough.
All of them.
Yeah.
well, you have counterbalance on 2.
Yeah. There is
Right.
that. Oh man, there's so many cool cards. I think we might just have to talk more about this next episode because there's so many cool cards that just are really sweet. When do these come out?
The 7th of November, I believe.
I want to play.
7th of November, and I believe they come out on the same day in both paper and online, which I
God, if
believe
we
is
weren't-
a first sort of thing.
If we weren't doing
Desert Bus.
If we weren't doing Desert Bus, we would totally want to do another like live stream game
with
of this.
with these decks.
Wait, they're online too?
Yeah.
Maybe we do that. That'd be a lot easier to set up.
Yep.
No promises. Making that very, very clear. I'm sure you'd be into that.
Yeah.
You do not need to tell us. We know you would be into that. But that'd be fun. Maybe we'll consider it. Sample hand. That's a neat new thing that they can do on the site. Cool.
Mulligan. All right.
Probably, yeah. Anyway. Oh, goodness me. That was sweet. Can't wait to check out Commander. Good talking. We look forward to having Dan on the show in the future so he can tell us all about the Planeswalkers and working on the set. And let us know those questions that we had for you about Commander and if you're into Planeswalkers as commanders and all that. And we'll talk to you next time.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.